This is the Peter Greenwood Show at the Fringe, and I have a lady to my left who is a returning guest, which I did not expect today.
Yes.
Could you tell us your name and your show title, please?
I will. My name's Louise Marwood, and it's Rita, Lynn, life coach. Although it was a very different world. We were just talking then about when I met you last time when I was doing a play.
Yes.
Pre-pandemic, before the world got shut down, turned upside down, which actually meant that I wrote Rita Lynn. So I'm actually sort of grateful in a weird way that I got locked down.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, I think so.
Apples and oranges.
I think so.
Who is Rita Lynn? Tell us about her. Where did she come from?
So basically, Rita Lynn is my addict brain, and I put her in a female form. So I went through, during the pandemic and after the pandemic, an addiction, which I ended up going to 4 years and 4 rehabs it took to sort me out. I think I was quite severe. But I came through the other side, and I wanted to write about it because I wanted to use my platform to help other people that are struggling with addiction, and I wanted to write a comedy about it, and that's how Rita Lynn was born. And yeah, so the premise is that Imogen Wood, is an addict who creates by accident a life coach character and ends up telling people how to live when she's dying. And I thought there was a lot of comedy to be found in that kind of juxtaposition, actually. And it just really sort of highlights to me what it's like to be an addict and have two brains, because you very much do when you're in addiction. You have the brain which is kind of you inside, who's very scared and wanting to live, and then there's the one in you who just really wants to die and just kind of go out all guns blazing, and it's a bit of a fight to the death, I think. And I wanted to highlight that and put it into a show, and I did, and that's why I'm here.
You did?
I did.
Yes. What was it like putting the show together? Because it does sound like it's a deeply personal thing you went through, like you found humour in it?
Yes. I mean, the life coaching stuff isn't me. I didn't end up being a life coach, but I actually found a lot of stuff about life coaching because I was desperately searching for people that could fix me. And that's how it came about. I thought the idea of somebody a self-appointed life coach is quite a bizarre concept, that someone can help and fix people and because they've said so. And so I kind of wanted to explore that. So that side of it's fiction, and that kind of gave me a bit of freedom, actually, from the stuff which is, based completely on my life and my ex-boyfriend and my relationship and what happened. Obviously, she's a dancer, not an actress, but other than that, it's pretty much autobiographical. And it was quite cathartic, actually, writing about it and processing things and sort of dealing with it by doing that and coming out the other side. And I've got to a point with it now where it's not triggering for me at all. I don't have any feelings. I'm very detached from all the stuff that happened now, and I think that means that I've kind of got in a good place in terms of being healed, which is nice. So now I'm just doing it as a performer. I feel quite separated from the material now, actually, which is good.
That is something I was going to ask. You touched on it briefly there. When you started performing the show, it must have been kind of triggering, to use that word.
I think it was, because I was dealing with stuff that when I first wrote it, I hadn't really dealt with. And, when you come out of a kind of emotionally abusive relationship, both, I think addiction is abusive for everybody involved. And so that all that kind of stuff I dealt with as I wrote it. And also when you come and see the show, there's stuff with a child. I was sort of a stepmother, but not married to him. So I have, it's not my child. So I had to leave the child. And that was really, really heartbreaking for me. And I've kind of thought, actually, no one really talks about that, what it's like to be a stepmom of sorts, who then has no kind of rights and just has to kind of leave, and what that's like and what that feels like as a woman, the cost of becoming a drug addict as a woman at the age of 35, putting all your maternal love into someone else's child, not having your own children, and kind of what you're left with when you're sort of blinking and bewildered, looking at your life going, where's my life gone? What that feels like at that age, and I thought, actually, that's something I haven't seen much of and people explore. But it's funny too. It isn't just heartbreaking, because I think there's a very fine line between comedy and tragedy, and I like to kind of explore that as much as possible, and I think I have in the show.
This is going to be kind of a deep question.
Go on.
Where do you find the line between comedy and tragedy? What is that line for you, and what does it look like?
I think it's really surprising, actually. I think even in your bleakest moments, you can find things that are funny. We touch on suicide ideation and things like that, really, really tricky subject. But actually, even in those darkest hours, there are moments of comedy that you find in life that you just kind of, it is bizarre, and you just go, I can't believe I'm laughing, actually. And I did in those situations. And I think when you test your edges to the nth, of your very being, you do find sometimes actually humour in the darkest of times. And I think that's when you have good drama, when you're able to toe that line between both. And I think if you've actually been there and seen it and witnessed it and lived it, then you can comment on it because you go, oh, actually, this is what happens. I'm not doing it from a place of fiction. I'm going, no, I went there and this is when I laughed, and that took me by surprise. So it'll take the audience by surprise, I think.
Was there anything you had to cut out of a show that, looking back on it, now you've had audience reactions, you're like, ooh, I kind of want to put this back in? Like, is the show still evolving?
No, I mean, I've basically kept everything that I was scared of putting in there. It's evolving in terms of, I guess, having confidence in the show as a performer and developing that, and not being scared of it, and not being scared to go to those monstrous places, not being scared to be ugly on stage, because actually I think that's where you need to go in order for someone to find themselves again. They really have to break into a million pieces, and it's not being scared to go there. And that's building every day, and the thing about Edinburgh that's incredible is you're honing something in front of a live audience every single day for the duration of a month, which is just for a piece of creative work. That's incredible. It's an amazing opportunity for stand-ups, for theatre, for dance, for everything. And that's what's so incredible about this festival, is that you have the opportunity to do that without apologies, and I love that.
What made you want to bring the show to the Fringe, and what has been the reaction like from Fringe audiences?
Probably for that reason, to be able to sort of hone it in front of a live audience. It feels like the Fringe is a beautiful kind of gateway now for one woman, one man shows to kind of have life beyond, future life, and whatever that looks like, who knows. So it felt like the next step to do, before I kind of knew what it looked like and knew what it was, to go, okay, well, let's just test this out and see what people think, because I had no idea. It came just completely from my brain, and it's either going to be a script in a drawer or it's me putting it to life on stage. So that's kind of, and I think the audiences are building every day, and the reaction so far has been great, actually. So it's exciting. I'm excited for what's going to happen over the next 3 weeks. And I think the amazing thing about the Fringe is that you can go from zero to hero, like from one day to the next. So I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I'm excited to see what will happen.
And what is next for you and for the show after the Fringe?
Ask me in 3 weeks, Peter. That's what the Fringe is all about. Ask me when the reviews come in. I don't know. It might be that I go, right, I've told my story and I'm satisfied, I've put it out there and that's it now. I feel like I've done what I needed to do with it. Or I might sort of get to a place where I'm like, no, I'm not done with this. I need to carry this on. Depending on audience reaction, depending on the reviews, depending on how it goes down. But it's so early days now. So we did our 6th show. Maybe it's our 6th show today, I've lost count. So it's really early days to see that, I think, or to know that. So yeah, come back to me in 3 weeks, I'll tell you.
I will contact Rosie.
Yes, very good.
And be like, hey, can we catch up?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Where can people find out more about the show online?
If you just Google Rita Lynn Life Coach, or if you go onto my social media, Miss_Marwood, there's a lot of stuff about the articles that I've done where I've really talked about my addiction. That's all out there, I think. I've basically got nothing to hide. It's all out there, Peter. I feel like I've laid my shit bare, and there's nothing, else I can say about it other than come and see the show and come and see what it looks like to see, to have an addict brain, what it looks like to be an addict at the age of 35 when you're a woman, and my take on it, which, I'm not glamorizing it at all. And I see addiction done wrong a lot, actually, on TV and film and in theatre. So I kind of I feel like I'm coming from a different angle with it, of going, no, this is what it actually it's what it felt like for me.
Thank you so much for your time. Lovely to see you again. Good luck with the show. See you in 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Rita Lynn, Life Coach, is playing every day until the 25th of August. It is at the Ace Dome at the Pleasance Dome at 7 o'clock. This episode was produced by @VCToriaA on Twitter and was hosted by myself, Peter Greenwood. Until next time, bye every single bye.